State's Exhibit 11. What is that?
That is a picture of my child's liver.
Your child's liver. That's quite a laceration, isn't it?
It is.
It is. And you heard the testimony that it would be 24 to 72 hours out. So either Monday morning to Saturday morning, correct?
Correct.
And he was just telling you his stomach hurt?
He was pointing at one point saying my stomach hurts, and that's all.
And you heard Dr. Eisenstadt say this is a serious injury, right?
I did.
And that quite a bit of force would be needed in order to cause that injury.
That is correct.
But so Monday he was just okay?
Monday he was throwing up. I was at work all day Monday, so I did not see him all day. I only saw him during the period of time when I returned home for lunch and when I returned home after 5 p.m.
Okay. And he was hurting overnight though, wasn't he?
No.
He wasn't?
Overnight what day?
Sunday.
Sunday, no, he was not.
Now you said just a minute ago that you stand by the statements that you gave Collins, correct?
Correct.
And in your first statement, you told him that the symptoms started Sunday night.
I told him that on Sunday. He told me that, Mommy, my stomach hurts, and that was all on Sunday night.
That was not your first statement to him.
It was my first statement to him.
Well, we all watched it.
We did.
And they can watch it again.
They can.
Yes, they can. So Monday he's throwing up. Is that right?
Monday, when I got home from lunch, I suspected that what was on the floor was a puddle of juice. I did not suspect at that time that it was thrown up until after he threw up with me after I returned home around 5 p.m.
But you didn't take his calls for help seriously, did you?
I did take it as seriously as I could from what I was presented and what he was showing me.
I think you had said that he's never thrown up like that before.
He has thrown up.
He has thrown up like that before. But he's a crybaby, isn't he?
He's a crybaby in the sense of he would tell me or he would cry if something was seriously injured or seriously wrong with him.
He would tell you something seriously wrong with him?
He would be crying and he would notify me that something was wrong with him. And
Is he?
Pointing or making, like I testified or like I said, he wasn't at a point where he could say full sentences yet. So it would be fragments of this, mommy this, mommy that.
Well, is a 2-inch laceration to a 2-year-old's liver serious?
Yes.
It's very serious. That's why he died, right?
Correct.
But he didn't say, point, he wasn't crying, it wasn't really alarming to you, was it?
He was not crying, he was not crouching over, he was not holding his stomach, he was not doing anything except for saying, Mommy, stomach hurt, and Mommy, juice.
And you expect the jury to believe that a 2-year-old crybaby, who you said cried over everything, who had a 2-inch laceration of his liver, wasn't really crying?
I expect him to believe what I saw and what I presented.
When did you break up with Kiyon?
Me and Kiyon ended our relationship around February of 2021.
Why?
Because
why?
we did. We just broke up. That was our first time dating. And 2, all of this was going on, so it was really a lot for me to even try to be in a relationship with anyone or focus on anything other than my child in this case.
And you knew him, right?
Correct.
And you repeatedly denied that he would have done anything to your child.
That is correct.
But you denied that you did anything to your child.
Absolutely.
And the time frame, as we've all heard, is that you and Kiyon were the only people who had access to him.
During Sunday to Monday.
Right.
Correct.
Right. Other than the Saturday that you were at your father's house.
Right.
Yes. Okay, but he was fine that day.
He was running around.
And then Sunday is when he's not feeling well?
Sunday night is when he first mentioned Mommy, my stomach hurts.
Okay. And then into Monday?
Monday, after I got home from work, yes.
Okay. But you say Kiyon would never do anything like that.
That is correct.
But you deny having done this thing.
That is correct.
So who would have done it if the only 2 people were he and you?
That is a good question.
So we just don't know.
We don't. Considering, and I will say this, nurses, they've all testified that my child did not have bruises on his body when he was presented to them. That is Tuesday morning. So, according to that time frame that you're trying to give me, by Tuesday morning, if something like this would have happened, he would have absolutely shown bruises or something on his body to a complete staff of medical professionals. And every one of them got on the stand and testified that they saw nothing. So, I also did not see anything to a point where I thought that I needed to rush my child to an emergency room after hours, after everyone was already off. I did not get home from work until 5 o'clock. That is after hours. I would have had to make an after hours appointment. I did not choose to do so because that was the first time that my child had grown up in my presence. And I believe that keeping him home would have sufficed for enough time for us to be able to monitor him and then decide from there what we needed to do.
So you said you didn't see anything.
I did not see anything.
Right. At some point you said you gave him a bath and you complained his balls hurt.
I was washing his balls, scrubbing his balls, obviously, because he had threw up on himself, and he said, ouch, and I assumed that it was because I was rubbing his balls too hard.
Well, and I'm looking at State's Exhibit 10, which is a picture of that very region of his body.
Correct.
Okay, so he said, is that not kind of a weird place to have a pain?
Not while I'm rubbing it, no.
Okay, so you never saw the injury.
I never saw
him.
it.
You had no idea.
I never saw the injury.
What about the injury to his cheek?
I was not aware of any injury to his cheek.
No, you didn't tell Sergeant Collins that was from a hickey?
I did not tell him it was from a hickey. I told him that me and my child often kiss each other and like to suck on each other's faces.
And is that what caused that mark?
I have no idea.
So it could be from you sucking on your child's face.
Could be I have video of me sucking on his face.
Now, it's your testimony that you and Kadeem moved to that Lakeview Road apartment so you could have easy access to the pediatrics office, right? And we've seen the medical records, correct?
That is correct.
And you said that you were a regular.
That is correct.
And what would you take him in for?
There have been multiple allergic reactions, random ones. He also had breathing issues that either they would send us to the emergency room for, or we would already be there, or it was regular checkups. And then, of course, I always saw them whenever his allergies would flare up or his vomiting removed.
And you didn't have any problem taking him right away, right?
I didn't take him right away then either.
Okay. You never took him right away?
To the doctor.
Yeah, I mean, if you had a problem, you just took him to the doctor, right?
No, you have to make an appointment.
Okay. You have to make an appointment?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, obviously you have to make an appointment.
That's obvious.
Would you make an appointment once you saw his symptoms?
I would make an appointment once I monitor his symptoms.
Once you monitor his symptoms?
Yes.
Like you monitor his throwing up?
From 5 p.m. until the morning that he passed.
Were you monitoring his symptoms when he threw up in his sleep?
I was sleeping, so no, until I went into the room. That was my intent to get up in the morning. I set my alarm to get up in the middle of the night to go and check on him.
But you were aware that he threw up while he was
Yes,
asleep?
correct.
And that wasn't alarming?
It was at that point. That was my very first alarm because he had threw it in his sleep and not while he was awake.
Mm-hmm. But you don't call Monday when you get up, right? When you wake up Monday, you just go to work.
Why would I need to call anyone on Monday?
I don't know. Would you potentially, you just said it was alarming that he threw up in his sleep.
That was Monday night.
Okay. And then he threw up again Monday, correct? So Monday he throws up in his sleep, which you say is alarming. Would you go to work?
Monday at 3 or something Tuesday now at
Okay,
3
it's
a.m.
Tuesday? See, I'm still hung up on the fact that you told Collins that these symptoms started Sunday.
I
I
told Collins that he first mentioned that his stomach was hurting on Sunday. On Monday is when I went to work. He was at home, and when I came home from lunch, he was sleeping, and there was juice on my floor. And what I presented was juice because the sippy cup was sitting right beside it, tipped over.
Right, but I guess my point is that on the first interview that you gave Collins, you told him that the kid was throwing up, Karter was throwing up Sunday. It wasn't until a month later, a couple weeks later, that you told him, oh, now it's Monday.
I did not, and also, I spoke with Mr. Collins the first time, the day after my child had died. So I was completely discombobulated that day.
Okay. And so you had kind of no idea what was going on. You're just monitoring conditions, but Karter's just happy as can be.
I'm monitoring his conditions, yes.
Right, and Karter's fine?
From my understanding, he has not yet thrown up in my prison.
Okay, so why doesn't Kadeem get to FaceTime his child?
Me and Kadeem were going through obviously a court battle, and he was annoying me, so I blocked his number. He could still contact me via either email or he could call my child's tablet.
He was annoying you by trying to figure out his overpayment of child support.
Why would he be overpaying for child support? That doesn't even make any sense.
You heard his testimony.
Why would he give me money for child support if he knew that he was overpaying?
I mean, he provided
He
his
gave me the money,
response.
that is correct. So that would not be overpaying. That is a voluntary. I'm giving you the money.
Stop emailing me. No, you can't get her to talk to Karter. Leave me. And that's the last time I'm going to tell you.
Correct.
All right. So, but you heard Kadeem's testimony about how you would block him when you got mad, but that he would always get to see his child, FaceTime or talk to him.
You also heard him say that he can only get his child during the time in which he's off work. So that would mean that he would have to be off work from his part-time job and his job at the fire station. Which is not something that he can just say, I'm off. It's based on his schedule.
I'm not talking about his work schedule and whether or not he gets to keep Kadeem. I'm talking about the fact that his testimony was that even when you would block him, when you'd be mad at him, he would still see his child on FaceTime or be able to call the child. And now, the weekend where your child's suffering a lacerated liver, all of a sudden he can't see his child.
No, I called him on Monday and asked him if he could watch the child.
Right. You called him Monday at what time?
When I got off of work, he threw up in my arms.
Okay, after he's been sick for a while?
I saw him throw up for the first time that moment.
You saw him throw up for the first time at that moment when he was in your arms?
Correct, he threw up with me.
Okay. And that was when or where?
Monday in the kitchen.
Monday in the kitchen.
After I got off from work.
Okay, so we had the red flag in the middle of the night. Was that?
That was after.
That was after? Okay. All right, so you called Kadeem and said, come get him.
I called Kadeem and asked him if he could take off of work to watch him that full day and monitor him. Yes.
And then after the fact, you blamed him for this, right?
No.
Yeah? You didn't say if he had just come get him, none of this would happen?
I do not recall saying that.
You don't recall saying that, but you heard Kadeem say that.
That may be his feelings. I have nothing to do with that.
What do you mean you have nothing to do with that? It's a conversation between you and him.
No, it's a conversation between you and him and his own thoughts. That has nothing to do with me.
So Kadeem's just making stuff up.
What would he be making up? He said out of his mouth, if he would have gotten the child, it probably wouldn't have happened. I had no control over that. All I could do was pick up the phone and ask my child's father, can you watch your child? And considering that she had just been calling me for 2 days, asking me if you could see the child, I would suspect that she would assuredly want to watch the child, especially knowing that he was sick. But he told me no.
Or, none of this would have happened meant that the finger would have been pointed at him.
No, I don't know what you're referring to.
Right?
Why would I tell him that? He's my child's father. He's never.
Why would you tell him what?
Why would I tell him that if none of this would have ever happened if he had been watching my child?
Well, if the child died on his watch, we point the finger at him.
We didn't know that the child was injured at the time.
You didn't know?
No.
No. Just all this throw up, my tummy hurts.
Correct.
Mhm. And you stand by your statements that Kiyon would never do this.
I stand by my statement that no one around me would ever harm my child.
So, if Monday he's throwing up, why didn't you just make an appointment for him then?
I asked for my child's father, who is an EMT and a firefighter, to watch his sick child. He is fully medically trained to watch his own child. He is medically trained to take care of anyone who is in an emergency situation. So yes, I went to him first before I took him to the doctor.
Well, you didn't take him to the doctor.
Correct, I did not have time. He passed away at 8:40 or 9:30 that next morning.
Right, well, but he was sick in the morning, wasn't he?
I went to work that morning.
Right, and that's
and
my
I
point.
FaceTimed him, and I told Kiyon to rush him to the doctor's office, which was next door.
So after you couldn't pawn him off to Kiyon, or to Kadeem, you wanted to leave him with Kiyon.
Don't pawn him off to his own father. How is that?
This injured child, yes. Yes,
At
so
the
you just
time,
go to work.
He was injured. At the time, the only thing that he was presenting to us was throw up.
Throw up and his stomach hurt really bad.
Not really bad. Mommy, my stomach hurt.
Not really bad, a 2-inch lacerated liver, but he's telling you his stomach just hurts. It's not really bad. He's not crying, nothing.
He is not crying. I work with children. I would have suspected someone of this magnitude to be crouching over, to be holding his stomach, to be indicating something of pain.
I think we all would. So when Kadeem doesn't take Karter, you don't make a doctor's appointment for him.
It's at this point around 7 o'clock, and after hours is what you would have to do in order to get an appointment. You would have to call the number, and if you get an appointment, they will then tell you that you can come in at a certain time the next day.
Mhm.
So there's no instance where he would have been able to see any medical professional unless I called 911 that day.
Urgent care's open?
I don't know about urgent care.
Emergency room's open?
He did not present any symptoms where I felt like I needed to take him to.
And that's not what I asked you. I asked you, was an emergency room open?
I'm assuming
You're assuming
emergency rooms are open.
they're not open 24 hours?
I'm assuming they're open 24 hours.
You assume that's not something that you just know, you're just guessing that that's true?
I don't work for an emergency room, so I don't know what's
And neither do I, but I don't need to work for an emergency room to know that I can go there at any time.
correct.
Right. So you do know that.
You can go to an emergency room at any time. That's basic information.
And if you had called your doctor, chances are you would have gotten a recording that said this is after hours. If this is an emergency, please hang up and dial 911.
Correct.
You did none of that.
Why would I need to call 911 for vomit or juice?
Or go to the emergency room.
He was vomiting juice, and this was not the first time that my child had vomited. And the first time that he was vomiting, we did go and see a doctor, and she told me that because it could be allergic reaction, that he would eventually get over it. So no,
But it is the first time that he vomited in his sleep and didn't wake up.
he did wake up.
He did wake up.
You just heard them say that he was on the phone with me and he was awake.
In his sleep the night before.
In his sleep the night before, he threw up in his sleep. I took him and I moved him to the other bed. When I got up that morning for work, which was a couple hours later, he was wide awake and he was talking.
And you were on the phone with Kiyon when he was taking your dying child to primary pediatrics, correct?
I was on FaceTime the entire time.
Okay. Do you remember any of the statements that y'all made on the phone?
Statements on the
Do you remember any part of that conversation?
No, because I was at that point driving from Milledgeville. I ran out of my office and I was driving from Milledgeville back to Monrovia.
So you don't recall if Kiyon said to you, man, I should have brought him in last night when you told me to?
No.
Why would you have told him to take Karter?
That's a very good question, because why would I tell him to take him?
Right, well, I mean, you did tell him to take him
I
Tuesday
did not
morning.
tell him to take. On Tuesday morning?
You did.
Why wouldn't I tell him? He's the only one with him.
And he said, don't worry about that right now, just get here. Do you recall that?
I do not.
In the daycare. Miss Shirley, right? How long have you been knowing her?
I've known her since my child went to daycare.
And you kind of went to high school. You went to high school with Kazette
I did, but we did not hang out, no.
until you started bringing Karter to her mom, and then you guys kind of had more of a friendly relationship.
No, I never had any type of relationship with Kazette until after my child passed.
Okay. Till after your child passed. So what was that relationship like?
There was no relationship. It was more so they had a party and she invited me over and I went to her place and that was the last time that I saw or spoke to Kazette.
And you took wine to her place, right?
I did not take wine.
So you didn't go to her place to pick up a plate?
I went to her place, like I said, they were having a party of some sort and I went to pick up a plate of food, yes.
You don't even know what kind of party it was?
No, I don't.
You don't recall it being a Christmas party?
No,
You don't recall that he took Christmas gifts there?
he didn't tell me that he took Christmas gifts. So
Okay. Okay. But who called you and told you that you could get a plate?
Kazette,
Gazette did?
Yes.
And you could pick it up from her house?
correct.
And you guys didn't discuss anything while you were there?
No,
You didn't tell her that he had a lacerated liver?
I don't recall, no.
Okay. You don't recall? Well, you just said that you didn't talk to her at all, and now you're saying you just don't recall if you made that statement.
I just said I don't recall telling her that my child's liver was lacerated. I obviously had conversation with her because I was at her place.
And you told her that you Googled it?
I don't recall telling her that.
You don't recall telling her that it could be because he jumped off the couch?
No, I don't recall telling her anything, but if I did, then I would probably have said what I researched.
And you never blamed Kiyon?
No.
Well, Miss Shirley, did you keep in contact with Miss Shirley after Karter's death?
Not really, other than her checking on me, no.
So you guys had a discussion though, right? She would check on you. Would she just say, are you okay, and then hang up the phone? Or would you guys actually exchange words?
I don't recall.
You don't recall
It
anything?
was 6 years ago. I don't recall.
It was 6 years ago. Well, she just testified that that's what happened.
That is what she testified to. That's not my recollection of the conversation.
She spent a lot of time with your child, didn't she?
She watched my child.
Pretty much all day unless Kadeem wasn't at work, right?
Correct.
Right. She loved your child, didn't she?
Sure.
And she made, what was it, a pillow with his picture on it?
She did.
And at his viewing, he had some kind of vehicle in his hands, didn't he?
He did.
And that was her vehicle, Miss Shirley's, right?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure, and you didn't give it back to her?
Why would I shoot left it in his casket? I'm assuming.
But you guys would never discuss anything after this? About Karter?
No, I did not.
Okay, so you never told her that he fell off and hit his head on the bed?
No.
So everybody's lying,
Yeah.
except you.
Why would I have to lie?
Well, why would the primary pediatrics people lie?
What did they lie
About the statements that were made on the phone
What do you mean?
with you and Kiyon. The people that you love, that we saw on the body cam, how broken up you were for them. About what happened to this boy because he was irregular and they knew him so well. The moment you went into the office, they knew you. Right? So why would they make up these statements that are made on the phone?
It only said that I told him to, or that he said, don't worry about it, just get here.
Yeah, and what were you doing?
Driving.
You were driving?
Correct.
Okay. And where were you coming from?
Milledgeville, Georgia.
What age kids did you work with? I think it sounds like maybe there were college students that
They
you
were
worked
high
with?
school students.
High school students? But you don't really know anything about the statements on the phone.
I was driving. They just told me my child was being rushed to the emergency room. I'm driving. I have an hour drive. I'm also trying to contact his father to notify him of what's going on. There's a lot going on while I'm trying to drive on the highway.
So what is Kiyon referring to when he says don't worry about that, just get here?
I have no idea. I'm sure I was trying to find out information about my child.
Did you talk about this afterwards with Kadeem?
Talk about.
Talk about anything?
I had multiple conversations with his father.
And was there any conversation about the lacerated liver and him and Kiyon? And have you ever found out about something?
Every time that I would try to contact my child's father about the case or anything involving the case, he did not want to talk about it, which I can understand that he didn't want to have more conversation about the death of his child.
Well, I don't think that's what I'm referring to. Because didn't he testify that he told you that he didn't know what he would do if he found out it was Kiyon? Didn't he testify to that?
That's what he said out of his mouth. I mean, that's his personal, emotional.
So he's lying too, or what?
Lying about what? That's his personal, emotional feelings. He doesn't know what he would do if he found out someone else did something to his child that has nothing to do with him.
Yeah, I'm referring specifically to the statement of that he made to you. He said that, right?
He did say that.
And what was your response?
I don't know.
Well, according to his testimony, you defended him, right? You defended Kiyon.
All I said was
You got mad at Kadeem.
I did not get mad at Kiyon. All I said was I do not believe that Kiyon would ever harm my child.
And so we know that Karter had his own bedroom in your apartment, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And that there was kind of this battle between keeping him in his own bedroom.
Not a battle. He was sleep trained.
He was sleep trained.
Yes, so I was training him to sleep in his own bed.
But he would come and knock on your door or try to find you.
Obviously, he would get up in the middle of the night and try to come back and sleep in my bed, yes.
Okay. He would. What about if you and Kiyon were in the bedroom with the door closed?
We wouldn't be in the bedroom with the door closed.
Well, what about, where would you guys smoke marijuana?
We did not smoke marijuana in my house. He would smoke outside or on the patio.
Did the smoke outside on the patio?
On the patio.
So you never had anything to do with any of that?
I never had anything to do with any of that.
Try to get a new phone after this?
Did I try to get a new phone?
Mm-hmm.
As in a phone number or?
A new phone, like upgrade your phone.
I believe I did upgrade my phone only because me and his father shared a phone at the time online, and I was returning his, and I was eligible for an upgrade, so I believe that I did upgrade or whatever.
When did you become eligible for an upgrade?
I don't know.
Does December 6, 2020 sound right?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you know how many times you checked to see if you actually qualified for an upgrade?
I would never check to see if I qualified for an upgrade. I don't know.
I got one. Right. That's interesting. This is State's Exhibit 60.
Right.
Can you look through this form?
Sure.
Do you have any idea what that is?
Those are records of an eligibility check from, I guess, my account.
From your account? And there were a lot of pages, weren't there?
They are
Okay, what were the dates?
from November until, I believe it was January, I don't know,
Until December? Or?
December, January, and that's the last day.
That's quite a few pages, isn't it?
Eligibility request for upgrade on my cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Okay. A lot of them came right after this incident happened, didn't it?
Sure. But I mean, I work in tech, so we upgraded my phone, had no bearing on anything, because everything was then transferred over to my new phone.
Why did you tell Kiyon to give him a breathing treatment that morning?
Because Kiyon had mentioned that he didn't think that he was breathing correctly. So I immediately said, well, I asked him to lift up his shirt so that I could see if he was retracting a little bit. I did not notice him retracting, but because he stated that he thought that he was breathing oddly, I told him to give him a breathing treatment anyway.
And you knew the signs and symptoms, right?
Yes, which is why I asked him to lift up his shirt.
Right, and you didn't see anything?
No.
But you said give him the breathing treatment anyway.
Correct.
You don't recall saying that Karter threw up 4 times Sunday night to Collins in your first interview?
I don't recall anything from that first interview. Again, I had just lost my child. It was a lot going on.
How many times did he tell you his stomach hurt?
I don't know.
Was it once?
He told me Sunday night. I went to work on Monday. I never heard him say it again until I returned home and he threw up in my face. And then he said, Mommy, my stomach hurts.
Did you give him a bath after that happened, or did you give him the bath prior to being in the kitchen?
I gave him a bath when I got home because I noticed that he had juice all on his shirt.
But it wasn't juice, was it?
It was juice.
It was juice?
It was juice.
What was on the carpet?
Juice.
Juice was on the carpet?
Juice.
Okay. But you said that you kind of deduced that it was throw up at some point in your statements to law enforcement, right?
Throw up, in my mind, is throw up, which it should contain food, some sort of consistency, chunkiness, something. This was not that. This looked like water mixed with juice.
So, then why did you tell law enforcement that you kind of figured out later, once he threw up in the kitchen, that you figured out it was throw up?
I said, because when he threw up in the kitchen, he also vomited the juice and clear fluid. So I then immediately said that must have been what I noticed on the floor when I came home from work.
said there was something I would tell you to law enforcement once they told you about the injuries, right?
Of course.
So there's nothing.
I did not witness any type of anything, no. And there was no evidence of any bruising or anything on his body to me, nor was there any evidence of any bruising on his body to the medical staff who saw him that Tuesday morning.
But Karter didn't run to you and point at Kiyon and say he hit me.
No.
And he reviewed that, right?
He never said anyone hit him, but if anyone did hit him, he would point to whoever. I would ask who did it, as I would refer to my child, and he would point and tell me who he thought would do anything.
Right, like if he got hit at daycare, something like that.
If he got hit at daycare, I wouldn't have known unless he started told me.
But you said if anything would happen, Karter, who was a crybaby in your words, would come to you and point at what happened.
Karter's always the last one to be picked up from daycare because I am the latest parent to pick him up. So whenever I pick him up from daycare, he is typically the only child there. So there will be no one to point to.
Okay, then why did you tell police that?
What?
Why did you tell police that if someone hit Karter, that he would tell you?
Because he would.
But he didn't do that with Kiyon.
So that obviously means no one hit him.
Nothing further, Judge.
Thank you.
I have nothing else, Your Honor. You can come
Step
down.
down, ma'am.
Ms. Davis, come on.